Hello, my name is Kyle Diamond. This is my MMA channel. Thank you for clicking on this video all about Bellator Dublin. Before we get into talking about everything that happened at the 3 Arena last night, just a quick little message to say that if you enjoyed this video in any way, you get anything out of it, show the channel some love, whether it's leaving a like, leaving a comment, hitting subscribe. Thank you for checking out the video in the first place, but show me some love and I can put that back into the channel, because that's what I want to do, you know? Anyway, plug out the way, so let's get into talking about Bellator. So due to me working until 8:30, which is really boring, I won't bore you with the details, I did miss the fights before the main card, so I went back and watched the former IMAF champion Lee Hammond make his Bellator debut with the very first fight of the card, got a first round finish as well, so a great start to his Bellator career for Mr. Lee Hammond. And of course I went back and watched Brett Johns as well, who picked up a much needed win in his second outing in Bellator, a dominant performance as well and a third round finish, so couldn't really ask for more from Brett Johns. Very happy to see him get back on track in Bellator. So as the main card started, obviously the first thing anyone is going to notice when they're tuning into a Bellator Dublin event is that the crowd is phenomenal as always. There was a part which I found really funny. In between a round, they started playing Sean Paul, and suddenly you see like half the crowd stand up and start dancing. Just the crowd is just always electric for these events. Dublin has turned into a real goldmine for Bellator, so it's always fun to watch these events just for the crowd alone. They also had Josh Denzel on the broadcast, who, if you're not aware of him, he used to be on Love Island, whatever, but that's kind of irrelevant. What I know him from is he does some stuff with Sky Sports, which I've really enjoyed, and I think he did add quite good value to the broadcast, mostly doing the backstage interviews and stuff that were pre-recorded, and I was fine with it. I thought it was quite good. I'm not really a fan of Bellator's broadcasting team, if I'm being honest, but I enjoyed those segments. The first fight on the main card was in the bantamweight division between Ireland's Brian Moore and Jonel Lugo, who of course is undefeated. He's 4-0 in Bellator, I think 7-0 overall. The thing that stood out to me was his recent win was over Keith Lee, so when I heard that name on the broadcast I was like, the Keith Lee? No, obviously not the Keith Lee. It was a super close fight. It was quite a strange fight to watch because both of them were looking for counters early on. I felt like Moore, when he tried to step on it a bit more and up his output, which I wanted him to do, Lugo was there for the counters. He got the unanimous decision win. I think he probably won the first 2 rounds. I thought Moore might have got the third one just because of the output, but Lugo seemed really calm and composed. I can't say I was incredibly impressed by his performance, but he got the job done in enemy territory, so fair play to him. Next up, we had Jose Sanchez versus Hassan, or it might be Hassan, I don't know if it's a silent K. Magomed Sharapov, who of course is the younger brother of Zabit, who was in his corner, which, as you can see from my reaction on Twitter, I couldn't believe that Zabit was there. I feel like I haven't seen him in ages, and I feel like he looks more like Abraham Lincoln every single time I see him. Just like his older brother Zabit, Hassan is so composed in there to the point where he almost looks bored. But it's just how dominant he is. Sanchez kind of seemed to want to grapple with him a lot, take away that striking from Hassan, which is fair enough, but also, if you know anything about the Magomed Sharapovs, they can also wrestle a little bit. So he kind of just dominated him, and it wasn't very close, to be honest. Next up on the main card, we had another fight that was sure to get the crowd singing because you had 4-0 Kieran Clark, the hometown favourite, taking on Abu Tankara 7-2. It was an interesting first round. Kieran Clark is a big fan favourite. I'm not really sure how far he's going to go in Bellator, but I do love watching him fight, especially on these cards. He's always great value for money. And Tunkara was kind of dominating him in the ground in the first round. I thought he put in a really, really good round. I thought this might be another tough night. I say another tough night. Kieran Clark's 4-0 because he always manages to pull it off somehow. So I thought this might be another one of these, or it could be a tough night for him. But in between the rounds, right after the first round ended, you could see that Tunkara dislocated his shoulder right at the end of the round when he was kind of using it to press off Kieran Clark. And the Mark Goddard had to stop the fight because of it. He seemed in incredible pain, to be fair to him. So obviously no one wants to see the fight end that way. I don't think the crowd were that bothered. They just wanted to celebrate Kieran Clark, and they got to, because technically he did win the fight. I don't know if that's going to be one that Bellator run back. I can't see that happening just because of how good Tunkara looked in that first round. I think they'll probably look for a different opponent for Kieran Clark. But yeah, disappointing end, but I was enjoying the fight while it lasted. Then we got to the night's co-main event, the all-Irish SBG civil war between Leah McCourt and Sinead Kavanagh. A great piece of matchmaking, probably the fight I was most excited to watch going into the event. And it was a great first round as well. McCourt got that big takedown really early on, but Kavanagh managed to out-grapple her, which is not what people saw coming with Kavanagh being the striker. And she almost ripped Leah McCourt's arm off with a Kimura, which I'm sure you will have seen on Twitter this morning, or last night if you were watching the event. But Leah managed to pull off another escape act. She just hung on through pure grit and determination, which was a huge narrative in this fight, as I'll get to. And then as soon as they stand up at the end of the first round, Kavanagh lands a huge shot. So I thought she was great in that first round, Sinead Kavanagh. And I wasn't really sure where Leah McCourt was going to go from there. In the second round, a potential, I thought at first it was a leg injury, but it turned out to be a knee injury for Sinead Kavanagh, really started to come into play. She sort of slipped, and that's the first time I noticed it. It was that she couldn't really put any weight on it, and she had no base going forward. There was a point where Leah was on her back, and as Sinead came in, she sort of kicked Sinead off of her, and because Sinead couldn't stand on that leg, she just fell back, and that was at the point where you felt like the momentum was going to shift. The second round was still close. I probably still gave that round to Sinead Kavanagh, but it felt like things were about to shift for Leah McCourt because of that injury. But then in the third round, it was a strange third round from Leah McCourt, if we're being honest. She kind of chose to grapple with Sinead Kavanagh for the final round, despite the fact that Kavanagh couldn't stand on that leg. She was limping back to her corner at the end of the round. So it was a strange fight. Both of them showed tremendous heart and grit to even hear that final bell with McCourt almost getting her arm ripped off and Sinead only having one leg. So fair play. I do think Leah McCourt probably could have won the fight in that third round. I think that's what a lot of people thought. She won the round, for sure, but it wasn't enough. I'm not sure she thought she took one of the other rounds, so she just thought, if I can get this round in the bank, then I'll get the decision. But huge win for Sinead Kavanagh. It was a great moment as well to see her being helped backstage by Conor McGregor and John Kavanagh. The only thing that soured the performance a little bit for me is straight after the fight, the broadcast announced that Scott Coker has confirmed that Sinead Kavanagh will be rematching Chris Cyborg again, when the fight only happened a few months ago and Cyborg won via first round knockout. So I was a bit like, do we really need that announcement right now? Just let... Because it kind of left people questioning why, which took away from her performance. But I'm just going to ignore that from now, to be honest, because I don't really know what that fight does for anybody. But great performance by Sinead Kavanagh, great fight between her and Leah McCourt, fair play to the Bellator matchmaking, and that was definitely my favourite fight of the night. Okay, so main event time came around. Gegard Mousasi, the middleweight champion, defending against the 11-0 undefeated Austin Vanderford. Mousasi has been 3-0 since his loss to Rafael Lovato. The big thing going in was, is Mousasi motivated? Because Vanderford will be. And if Mousasi's motivated, he's one of the best fighters on the planet. I truly believe that. But there's always questions with Mousasi as to how much he's in it for a paycheck and how much, he's motivated for the fight. Well, Gegard proved everybody wrong that said that he wasn't going to be motivated for this fight. A truly punch-perfect performance from Gegard Mousasi. He stopped the takedown from Vanderford. He landed beautiful shots every time Vanderford tried to close the distance, and he ended up stopping him in about 2 minutes. Again, I think Vanderford, there seemed to be an injury with his shoulder. He was grabbing at his shoulder. But it was a picture-perfect performance from Gegard Mousasi. He landed when he needed to land. He didn't waste anything in that fight. And he proved that he is just levels. When Gegard Mousasi is on, he's one of the best middleweights in the world. Top 3 without a doubt. And he proved that once again. I don't know where he goes from here. There's got to be another contender sitting around somewhere for him. But make no mistake about it, Gegard Mousasi is the middleweight champion and he's not going anywhere. Guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. What were your thoughts on Bellator Dublin? What do you think's next for Musasi? Get involved in the comments, leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Hit subscribe because I'll be doing more Aftermath pieces for cards coming up. And there you go. I'll catch you on the next one. See you later.